Welcome to episode 29 of the Ad Talk podcast. And today our topic is, we don't have a topic, but what we're going to talk about today is just what's working in ads right now. So what's kind of crazy about our industry, and I'm sure Caleb and Matthew will feel this deeply when I say it, is what works this week is probably different than what worked last week. It's a little bit different from what worked the week before. So let's just do a little state of the union with what we're seeing in paid advertising today, specifically for the brands that we run ads for. And for those of you listening, for context, it's mostly online learning brands. We're doing a lot of stuff in online learning. So I would say like e-learning, courses, consultants, creators, things like that. We're doing a lot with B2B as well, service-based businesses, kind of all across the spectrum, but mostly paid social media ads. And so this episode is just dedicated to what's working right now, going into May of 2025 on Meta, Google, TikTok, platforms like that. We're running ads for some pretty high profile, big name people who have good organic following, right? And I kept asking myself, okay, why is their organic stuff working so well? What is it about their organic content that works so well? And how can we leverage that on the ads side? So I'm curious what you guys have seen in some of the brands that you're working on, like this year especially, because I think the trend for me, what I'm noticing is like, if there's organic content that's working well, that's hitting virality, or that, even if it's a trend or a certain way of like framing the video, using that in the ads has decreased CPMs and increased conversion rate substantially. Because if you think about it, the people on the platform are engaging with organic content that keeps them on the platform. Yeah. And the platform's whole goal is to keep people on the platform and watch videos and retain them. And so if we can use that in ads, the net effect is that, the ads just convert a lot better down the line. So yeah, curious if you guys have any experience with that, or if you're seeing the same thing in some of the accounts you're running.
Yeah, definitely am. I mean, I know Matthew, I think you are too. So I think we can all speak to this, but yeah, it's just been a huge push lately, at least a focus of mine for the clients that I've been working with, to focus on stuff that feels native to the platform. So like organic, repurposing organic is one big piece of that. And just in general, trying to film in a way and just make video creative in a way that feels like it just flows with the natural content that someone's going to experience. Right. To your point, Dakota, because you want the person to watch the ad and actually like resonate with it and not click away from it or scroll right past it. And when they don't do those things, the platform is going to reward you, right? Like your CPMs will be better. Ultimately, just all of your metrics down the line end up becoming much better too. So I've seen a big push for like repurposed organic. One of the things, honestly, that we're doing with one of the clients that I'm helping out with is we work closely with the person who's managing their organic, and they'll send us reports on, hey, this week, these were our top performing things on the organic side. And they're like sending us, hey, it was like these 3 reels that we did or whatever. Then we're taking those 3 and then we're slapping on a CTA on the end, maybe altering the hook or giving like a 1 or 2 hook variations. And then we're getting it live and we're testing to see if it'll work. Yeah. So that's been really cool. I guess like the point of that is just having a tight feedback loop with the person who's managing organic. I mean, like that's been what's working for me at least.
Well, and what's crazy about that, I think so many people have come to us in the past, Caleb, and been like, do I need organic social media presence? Like, do I need to be posting? Do I need to have SEO, or do I need to have, and whatever it is? The answer has always been like, no, you don't need it. But now more than ever, I would say like those people who do have that sort of like brand already built, content engine already created, they've honed in their message through the like trial and tribulation of trying to make organic work. And then when they come to us for ads, it's so much easier to piggyback on the back of that sort of traction. And I will say, like, most of the ad accounts that we run that crush it have some organic success already. It's not like it's impossible without it, but now more than ever, I think that trust factor of having an organic presence is a necessity and not something that people should ignore.
I think one thing that we should call out as well, and I can speak to some of the success we've seen as well, is like when we're saying repurposing organic, we're not just saying hit boost, that kind of stuff. It's, taking
don't just like boost the post. Right.
Exactly. So what we're saying is, take the video creative that is working and then, apply marketing intelligence to it essentially. So one thing that we see a lot of success for in one of the clients I work with is taking really short clips, typically of either what he's like, just like in a speaking engagement, like if he's just like out doing his job, and then posting really quick visual text hooks and having it loop essentially. That's been super successful because, you know, when someone sits down and watches an ad for like 2 minutes, you know, that takes a very different kind of messaging, and it looks advertising-y. You know, if we're trying to repurpose organic, keep it looking like organic is going to be critical.
Yeah, man. Yeah. It's similar. So it's like when you watch TV, right? It's sort of like the zig and zag culturally of generations, in my opinion, because like when you watch TV, which is like what we grew up watching, and a commercial break came on, you knew immediately that you were watching commercials, right? And you changed the channel, or you tuned them out, or you turned the volume down, or you muted it, or whatever. Like that was your reaction to commercials. And we are programmed to see an ad and skip past it. Like that is what we do. So in essence, if you're able to make your ad engaging enough and native feeling enough for people not to skip it, that is winning. Right? That is how you win on these platforms. And so that's really all we're talking about here is like, hey, obviously organic content works because it feeds the algorithm what it's looking for. People engage with it. Let's use that mentality and create advertising that works as well. Honestly, it can be as simple if you're brand visionary or whoever's running like social media, like Caleb, you were saying, for the brands that you're running ads for, if that person just literally makes organic content around the same sorts of CTAs that you run ads to, you can quite literally take those ads and stitch on the back of them a more direct CTA from the same person, and boom, money making machine, because like that's what people are used to seeing. So super cool. That's something, this year that I think we've been focusing on, that in the years past, it really hadn't been a big focus piece. I mean, like, because brand building has never been as big as it is today. And so it's like people are understanding now, maybe building a personal brand first is the play, and then monetizing it with products. You know, you see Mr. Beast, you see the Pauls, you see, Ryan Trahan has like a candy company now, right? Like all these guys who built like personal brands and then learned how to monetize them, both at a large scale and a small scale, has kind of built this trend around, maybe I should focus on social media a little bit more. Which has changed the landscape of advertising quite a bit.
Totally. And I think one of the other things too is there might be some people listening who are like, okay, I don't have organic yet, or I don't have anything that seems to be working really well in organic yet. So like, what do you guys recommend in that scenario? And obviously, like, keep on consistency. Consistency is the key with that. But two is what we found is that we're creating ads right now from scratch that honestly don't even require like our clients to film anything. And it's because what we're doing is we're saying, can we find some B-roll footage, or like, which you can find online? There's plenty of tools that are free and some paid to get some B-roll footage, and slap animated text on there as if it was like an Instagram story or an Instagram reel, right? Like if you can do that, that feels like it's native to the platform, right? And it doesn't have to be something that you just directly pulled like off of your own page. But if you can take time to make something like that, what we're seeing is that stuff is working really well. So if you haven't tried it, grab some B-roll, throw some text on it, try some different variations of that. One of the things that's worked well in one of the accounts I'm in is I took the exact same text, just popping up like, hey, here's the headline, a subheading, and then click below to learn more. And it just pops up like the next text pops up every like 2 or 3 seconds. And then all that we did was we slapped like 10 different B-roll clips to the back of that. So I would have 10 different variations. And I just threw all of those into a campaign and said, let's see if these work. And they work. So it's cool to just kind of
low effort, honestly. Like it's just understanding the trend more than anything. Right. And that's what Ryan on our team has been so good. We'll have to bring Ryan in to one of these episodes in the future, but our director of strategy, Ryan, he has really helped us understand how do we take these social media trends and repurpose them in our ads. And what's crazy is like it works so much of the time, like probably 75% hit rate on repurposing social media trends into advertising. And obviously you have to stay on top of it a lot more because these trends die out quickly. It's really changed the game for us. So
And there's really cool tools as well. I've been having fun with CapCut Pro. It's not super expensive, but if you get on CapCut, like it'll show you trends and templates of like what people are sharing the most right now on social media anyways. And like, even if you don't use them exactly, it's inspiration of like, okay, what are people sharing right now the most, and then like,
Yeah,
take
man.
that idea and try to make it. So
there's a new app as well. I don't know if you've had a chance to check this out, Caleb.
I downloaded it, but I haven't used it yet, so I'm excited.
Yeah. So Instagram, Meta made an editing app to battle with CapCut, right? Because if you guys don't know, CapCut is owned by ByteDance, I think, which is who made TikTok. TikTok and CapCut go hand in hand. You can obviously export videos from CapCut and use them anywhere, but when TikTok was banned for that, few days back in January, CapCut was also banned. So like I couldn't edit on CapCut, which is what I usually use. So anyways, Zuckerberg saw an opportunity here to create his own sort of competitor, and they made one called Edits. And so far I am really liking the thing. And it has a similar like explore panel where you can click in and kind of see trending. You scroll through and it's going to show you like what's trending on Instagram. Cool, yeah. Really cool. And then it also has a little like analytics panel that pulls from your Instagram page and shows you where all of your performance is from the stuff you've already posted. So it can give you the insights on like what if your stuff is working or not, why or why not. What I find interesting about that is like more and more Instagram is explicitly showing you how things work and why they work. And if you follow Adam Mosseri, I think is his name, the guy who's he's in the head guy for Instagram. He will go on and go live and post videos on like, here's what you should be making in order for it to go viral or in order for you to get the reach that you want. So they're trying to show us like, how can we get more people on their app, right? Is what they want. Yeah. But if you can leverage that in your advertising, that essentially makes people want to use the app more because the ads feel more native to the platform and it's all self-fulfilling prophecy. So, talking about this is huge. And I would say like, I would love to give more tips. I think this is a good place to sit on this topic. I would love to give the people more tips on how could we leverage organic in ads apart from the creative. We've talked a lot about the creative so far. What other things can you do to either grow an organic page or you leverage organic following, for revenue generation from ads, right? My brain goes to specifically audiences, right? There's a lot you can do with audiences from an organic page.
Yep.
We've got one brand, I think combined, this person has 10 million plus followers on, Facebook and Instagram and YouTube. And one of the things that works really well for them is just, we constantly run cold traffic ads, but we target Instagram engagers and Facebook engagers for the last 14 or 30 days because this person is constantly building their bucket of engagers. It's always new people entering because their social media does so well, but they don't always know what this person has to offer, right? Because there's not a CTA in every piece of content. So if we can hit them with retargeting from our ads, we know that now at least all those people who have just started engaging for the first time see a CTA, and that's typically our lowest cost per conversion in the account.
Yep. Super cool. And going on that same like audience kind of topic, I think one of the other cool things that we can do with organic is showcasing valuable content to them with campaigns like video views and then retargeting those people who are watching that kind of content. So an example of that could be like, maybe you've been posting some reels that are just straight value, right? Like all you're doing is you're talking directly to the market who is your customer, and you're giving them tips, you're giving them advice, and something that they're going to find really helpful. If you take that and run it as a video view campaign, what you can do is basically build a bucket of people who've seen that valuable content and then showcase them ads afterwards that are more like, hey, I want you to take this action. So it's kind of like, it's almost like dating somebody before making the next move kind of a thing, right? It's like, I've seen your valuable content. Now I'm going to put something in front that basically, asks you to take the next step. And so that's another really good use case, I think, for organic and people w'ho've been watching the content. So
yeah, man, if you think about like what a VSL funnel is supposed to do, it's essentially that, right? It's like, hey, you know me a little bit. You see my ad, watch my video, click this, watch this longer video, and then take action. We're essentially engineering a video view campaign to do a lot of that piece. And so what Caleb's describing, if you want to set this up from scratch, what I would recommend is if you have a video that if somebody watches this entire video, even if it's a minute long, maybe it's a minute, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever, if somebody watches this whole video, they are definitely going to be in my ideal client profile. Meaning if they watch this whole thing, the only reason they would watch this whole thing is because they were resonating with what I was saying specifically, and they're probably the person I want to market to. So if that's the case, you push that video out, cold video view campaign, and then you essentially create a retargeting audience for people who viewed 90% or 95% or 100% of that video. Now that bucket's going to be small depending on the budget, but over time it's going to compound. And as that fills up, now you have a retargeting audience that's exclusively built from people who have watched an entire video from you that educates on the exact same, the exact thing that you are able to provide for them. And so again, this is like, it's adding value, and then it's making sure that your brand is only hitting people who are super, super interested in what you have to sell. So really, really cool, Caleb. I love that one. And also that video view campaign is going to be pushing from your organic page. It's attached to your page. And so you're getting more eyeballs on your organic. People now, before clicking a link, are very likely to click your profile, first. That's kind of a trend that I've noticed. So it's not always that they click the link in your ad. A lot of times they're clicking your profile first to check you out, make sure you're credible, and then they'll go back to the ad and click the link if they want to. But there's a lot more steps of research that are happening typically.
Yeah, I think one thing to sort of like piggyback on this like organic discussion is not just like ads that are working right now in 2025, but funnels that are working right now in 2025.
Yeah.
And that's webinars just dominating at the moment on a lot of clients I work with. So I think it kind of goes hand in hand with just the authenticity that comes with, an organic repurposed post used as an ad creative, because it feels less marketing-y and less like scripted, if that makes sense. That's why we're seeing that perform well. But there is, I think we've spoken on a couple of the recent podcasts about, the trust deficit at the moment and the trust recession. So I think if we're thinking through organic and why it's working, it's because of that trust recession. And, if we're able to tap into an area that looks and feels like what they're expecting to see on the platform, that is going to generate that trust. Likewise with webinar, if you've got an evergreen webinar that's performed well in the past, and then all of a sudden you see a ton of comments like, is this even live? There's clients I work with, as soon as they start the webinar, they're like pulling up their phone and like, look, this is the date, this is the time. I can't do it because
that's awesome.
Right?
So good.
But that kind of like engendering trust and like, no, this is real. This is happening. This is live. This is organic. That kind of stuff, I think, is like speaking to the way that the market, and especially like market sentiment in terms of lead behavior, lead expectation, has shifted a lot in 2025.
For sure. Yeah, the messaging that I'm seeing work on the webinars that I'm running as well is like, first off, they are live, right? So, and it's not to discredit evergreen webinars. It's not trying to say, hey, like those aren't going to work. But I mean, there's something special about like going live and people connecting and resonating with you in real time during an era where it's so hard to distinguish between what's real and fake online. You know what I mean? And I think that what I see working for the live webinars is we're talking a lot about how it's live up front before it starts. Like the whole page is live in the automated SMS and emails. It's like, this is live. This is not recorded. We're not going to send you a recording. This is actually happening. It will be me. Like it's going to, you know what I mean? And it's like that kind of messaging seems to resonate, and attendance rates are strong, like really, really strong right now if you have good sequence. And so I agree. I think webinars are definitely the move right now for like generating high quality leads that are willing to, buy something a little bit higher ticket. I think if you're going with a faster funnel, meaning like not a live webinar, maybe it's like a VSL, or you've got a lead magnet, or there's some sort of low ticket, for those kind of offers, they're still working for sure. But what I've seen, and I think Dakota, you could probably speak to this too, is the teams who have, and Matthew, the teams who have setters, like a really well-built setter motion, seem to crush those kind of funnels right now. Like if it's a faster funnel and you're going straight to closers, it's tough to scale that up. But if you've got setters, that are qualifying and building relationships with people before they get to the closers, those offers are also crushing right now from what I've seen.
That is such a great point. There's a couple clients that I work with that don't run webinars and do well because what do they prioritize? It's speed to lead. It's like getting communication straight up. And I know that, if the boss or, the marketing manager, the sales manager doesn't see something has been received and acknowledged and then worked on within, a couple minutes, even under a minute, that is a red flag because they know how important speed is.
Honestly, dude, it feels sort of like there's been like a tightening of the belt a little bit in terms of like,
for sure,
hey, weird stuff with the economy happening, just a little uncertainty happening, and the brands that are willing to push harder on things that arguably require more effort, like going live is hard, right? Which would a brand owner rather do? Record a webinar once and run it evergreen, or go live every week?
Of course,
10 out of 10 are going to say record it once, right? Well, the problem is that's not working the way that going live can work. And so with this like tightening of the belt and people who are like, really going hard after making their business work, those are the ones that are working because they're outshining all of these people who are like set it and forget it. And there's been a time where in 2020, 2021, it was easy. Now it's not easy right now, right?
No. And one of the things that you just said that like we haven't even mentioned yet is that when you are going live, it also brings up the ability for you to talk about current events. So like one of the things that you just talked about, right? Like the news is crazy and like things are happening, right? Like tariffs is a really big thing that like people have been talking about. How much more powerful is your webinar presentation when you get on and you're like talking about tariffs or whatever everybody else is talking about? You know what I mean? Right. It's like, it's just, it gives you this
as simple as
like,
bringing it up and then saying, here's how we can fix that problem, right? It's like just that alone will calm the fears of somebody who, if otherwise was worried about it, wouldn't have had an answer.
Exactly. And an evergreen is never going to be able to do that, right? Like it's just not. You have to re-record it, and then then if you're going to just re-record it with current events all the time, then why not just go live?
Just go live, yeah.
Exactly.
And I think it does build on what we're talking about, like the organic traction that works because there's relevancy. It's timely, right? You're posting content, and every time you post a piece of content, you're thinking about current events. You're thinking about where people are at in the world, and they're following along with you on that journey. If you don't have that piece and you record ads 6 months ago and you're still running those same ads today, you're missing contextually everything that's changed in the world since you made those ads. And so, it all goes hand in hand. And Matthew, you brought up the trust recession. And I think we've been talking about it a lot, which I'm kind of proud of because, we've been on this trend for probably a year now. And now I think is when people are finally starting to get a little bit of a whiff of like, oh, crap, like we really have to push way harder on content creation in order to make this thing work, which leads me to my next kind of like aside, and I don't want to spend too much time here, but we obviously have hit on AI a ton in the past. And, one of the things that's happening right now is that AI is getting faster and better at creating video content that feels almost real. Normally I'm like embracing AI pretty heavily. And I will say like, I think there's a really good use cases for video AI. And I think it's going to probably get so good that we can hardly tell the difference. But I think, and this is just I'm just going to predict this, that maybe I'll be so wrong. In like 2 years, we can look back. My prediction,
Dakota.
my prediction is that the fact that AI is going to be pushing so hard in so many areas, we're going to start seeing these videos. We're going to start seeing just AI everywhere. We already kind of are, but like all of your favorite creators are going to have like AI versions of themselves and, all of that stuff that I think the general population is going to pull back really hard from it and want to go in a complete other direction. And I don't mean just like the hipsters or the avant-garde group, like that's definitely going to happen, right? There's going to be a whole like grassroots movement, similar, the same reason I have a record player over here. Like there's going to be those people who are like, no, analog, get me away from this AI stuff. Yeah. But I mean, the mainstream media and world, I think is going to also have a pushback on AI moment where it's like, hey guys, we don't want fake stuff everywhere, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm curious how that will affect advertising, because I think we're going to see this wave of AIification of everything. And then I have a feeling it's going to go back to like, hey, can you like just hold up your phone and talk? And can you make sure, can you verify yourself that it's real somehow? Like whatever that looks like.
Yeah, and that's for sure going to be a thing, I think, is like, how do you verify that an account and content is not AI generated versus like actual human?
Yeah.
That'll be really interesting. I think so I agree with this prediction. I think AI video stuff will have its place, and I think for specific like product related things, or if you're using it for like a background, or you're using it to like enhance something, that's one thing. But I think that if you're just straight up like creating a fake human, and that human is supposed to be building trust with the audience, like that's not going to work. You know what I mean? Like, so I agree with that, especially in our industry when it's like consulting, you know what I mean? Like you want to like buy into something that because you trust someone's method and how they handle themselves. And I don't understand how people are going to build a strong, trustworthy community if it's like the only thing they ever see is like a fake AI face, and like an AI voice. It just doesn't make sense.
But people will do it.
Oh, for sure. They will do it. Yeah, they will. And it probably will work at first. It's going to work at first. Like it will. And then it's going to become a thing where people start getting mad when they realize I've just been following this person for a month and I didn't even realize half their crap was fake or whatever. Right? Like there's going to be these moments, I think, of like, oh, I just like, this is gross. You know what I mean? And then I think that's going to be what happens. Yeah.
One small use case is Mountain Dew. I'm sure we all remember the Super Bowl advert.
It was like fully AI, right?
Fully AI. It was Seal.
It was Seal, and he was like, singing.
Wow, Kiss by a Rose is like one of the best songs of all time. So
right,
yeah,
but they had a 46% brand increase visibility wise because of that. Like it was like ostensibly AI by design for that reason, to like create chatter.
But that's like, hey, gimmicky trend, do it like, to get people talking.
It's like shock value. Yeah,
exactly. That's on the forefront, and then it's gonna all be that, and that's when
I think like for me, what I think it should turn into, and maybe eventually humans, like I think there has to be a really strong distinction between humanity and AI, right? And this sounds so sci-fi even saying it, but like right now we're in this blurred line of like what can and can't AI do, and how far can it go, and what can we use it to do XYZ, and we're as humans we're testing those boundaries because like it's an emerging tech and we just want to know. But I think eventually we're going to have like a pretty strong desire to separate humans from AI, and because of fear, one of the reasons. Like imagine for a second that we can just put ChatGPT inside of a robot that looks like a human. That's like probably a couple years away from, being like mass market.
Yeah.
Imagine like having that thing walking around your house.
Yeah.
Right. And it talking to you and your family and stuff like that. Like there's going to be desires for us to separate from the robots. Like, and personally, I wouldn't want that reality, but yet there's going to be whole groups of people that do want it. And I think what's interesting in advertising is we have to understand how psychologically, what is the mass market going to think about this? The people who are educated, the people who are uneducated, the people who love tech, the people who hate tech, every age range, every demographic, like how will they react to this? And over time, like, what does that mean for for how we do things? To me, I love the use of AI to like simplify workflows, be more productive. One person can do many more jobs. I don't like the use of AI when it's trying to replace the human element of things. And I think that's the line that we're going to like have to hit at some point. I just don't know when, but it's fascinating to think about. And I guess I'm bringing all this up because like, if you build your thing on organic trust, if that's your brand and your messaging and all that stuff, you want to be pretty careful about how you start leveraging AI, because you can quickly lose that trust for the sake of like efficiency, in my opinion.
Yeah, agreed.
Makes sense. I think what we should start doing, how like the Seal ad, the Coca-Cola ad, where it says like generated by AI, what we should do instead is have like fully human made ads.
Not AI.
Not AI, fully human. That's actually a pretty solid idea.
Wait, we should record an ad and try to be AI-ish like in the ad as like have like weird mannerisms and stuff, and then be like, I bet you thought that was AI. Nope, I'm a real person.
I'm just really good actor.
There you go. That's a free ad script for you guys.
That's
Somebody
solid.
use that.
If someone did that like really well, that would probably go viral. Honestly,
Yeah.
like a comedy skit, that'd be funny.
Oh, for sure.
It's funny. Anyways, hopefully this has been a helpful exercise for you guys listening in terms of like thinking about organic and how it can play into the paid advertising side. We didn't even hit on YouTube. YouTube is a whole other thing where it's like Google ads, YouTube ads. You can make awesome retargeting audiences from your channel. With demand gen campaigns now, you can do lookalikes of YouTube subscribers and page viewers, and there's all sorts of like opportunity there. But ultimately, I think the main takeaway should be that building an organic brand is more important than ever, especially if you're going to run paid ads, because it just helps build trust and credibility over the long run. And being on top of social media trends is a necessity for an advertiser as well, just because it's going to be what makes your ads rank higher and get better deliverability ultimately. So
Awesome.
That's the summary. Anything else you guys want to add?
No. Good to be back. Good to see you fellas. And thanks guys for tuning in. If you're out there listening, we love you.
We love you. See you next time.
Peace.